Yo, 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 good morning. Let's begin. And it's this issue we're going to continue with today, doing a little bit of a rework extension thing. And I'm very optimistic about the end result. I'm not going to take too much time going through this once again. Instead, we're just going to jump in right where we were or where we ended yesterday. So we're in the process of rewriting terrain data using we're actually renaming terrain data to terrain patch data, and terrain data is, one could say, a vector 4 with bytes, pretty much. And then we have a terrain data buffer, which is a native array currently with these, and a compute buffer. So it's basically, instead of relying on texture 2D, we replace that with a array and compute buffer pair, which will hopefully make things work much smoother. And yesterday we ended on trying to, or just fixing terrain patch data constructors such that we use this class and this struct instead, and more specifically the generative part of it. It's basically, these create texture-like data structures and we fill them up with whatever we want. So Perlin noise or constant data value. We can also do gradients, but yeah. The worst thing here is that I wrote myself into a little bit of a corner yesterday. This one assumes that we send in 4 generators because we always have like one terrain data package is always 4 different types of data. So we just need to handle it if that is not the case. And I'm thinking of doing if we can do some nice stuff here. I just want to make it as clear as possible and as general as possible. We don't really care about performance at this point because this is the instantiation for the instantiation. So we can afford to do things in an unoptimized way here. And I'm wondering if I'm just gonna let this one handle it. So basically what we want to do is we're gonna have to for we can probably do it like this. Let's see. Generators int, here we do. We skip this one. So do like this, generator offset. But then we also want to do an if here. It's going to be very messy. Actually, I think the way we're gonna do this is like this. Let's see here. We're not gonna have a constructor like this. We're just gonna add a, we're gonna make this much cleaner. Oh, come on. We're just gonna have a method for loading data instead, or generating data. Generate data, data value generator, and we also send in terrain data type here. And then we do, let's see, we can change a lot of the functions lower down to help with this. So we're just going to skip this as well. Okay, so inbounds type XY, we want to get type. Let's see. Good morning, Calvino. Get data texture type. Can we do Oh yeah, and then we need, oh fuck, that's true. X, Y, and something like this. Although I wonder if I want to make this a little bit cleaner. Maybe not cleaner, but I think I would like to have value index first, actually. We're gonna get skip index here. Get resolution. Another question is, do I want to support different... Yes, maybe I would. Get resolution, terrain data type, good. So we're gonna do return terrain data buffers type dot index buffer index and then we can do value public int size get data information as a string. We can probably do this a little bit nicer. Public int resolution I care. inbounds. We can do it like this. Now, like when we call any method in this class, we're just gonna assume that it exists. Get data information, terrain data type XY, then we have get data here. The previous system made it a little bit harder to work with purely bytes. We're not going to have this problem anymore, so we're probably just going to have one get data. But let's see here. Good morning, Harukanan. Dot value. Harukanan, my ankle does not like this weather. It hurts like a mofo now. I take it you got snow tonight as well. And is it the same ankle you hurt this summer? I like the fact that this nor this will know anything about data types. It's terrain patch data's job to work with types. So I wonder if I want value index. Type. So it's pretty much going to be type dot data index XY. No, just cold as hell. It's almost like I want to do all of these. Why not? Harukanen, it was kind of okay when I was outside, but when I got in and started to warm back up, it got bad. Oh, yeah, I can see that. Get data texture, we don't have texture anymore. Apply data. Probably not going to be threadable anymore either. We probably always want to do this from the main thread anyway, because basically what we do is we just start sending some data to the GPU. But let's take a look at this one. Apply data. Do I want to... Maybe I want to rename that one. Eventually we're gonna set these arguments, but these parameters, but initially we just go with 0 and length. So a public void oh no, did I actually, let's see here, wonder if it's this one. One sec, I'm just gonna open up the one link I had yesterday. Where do we have it? I thought it was this one, but maybe it's not. Here we go. But I wonder... Okay, use this to begin a write operation. Using this method results in fewer memory copies. Yeah, we probably want to rely on that one eventually. But let's do set data first. So in here we do buffer type dot update buffer. I wonder if I want to be more explicit with the name here. Like write data to GPU or whatnot. Get data array. Get data we already have. Get data sum. I don't think we used that one. Get data as integer. Preferably we would just work with it as bytes all the way through. Okay, let's see here. Set data. Type XY byte value. Okay. would like to be able to do plus x value index is equal to this. We're gonna have to do one sec though. Yeah, we probably need to use some macro or something for this. Calvin, my dog loves this weather. He goes bananas when he sees snow and just starts running wild. Yeah, I remember that from the time I had a dog as well. He loved this as well. See her, Walkies. Thank you for the follow, appreciate it. So the never-ending problem of trying to change the struct here. Can we do data data y times height plus x, d value index is equal to value, and then we set d here. Can we do it like this? It's a little bit cleaner. So pretty much exactly the same way we have to change vectors most of the time. Fuck, well, I would really like to have value index. Is it something we can implement or do anything to make this possible? Actually, is it possible with... Come on. Okay, so we just need to implement it. I reckon. Where do we have that one? Here we have it. What do they do in here to allow for shit like that? Partial, okay. Well, let's see if we can figure this one out. Modify the return value of let's see if we have some examples on how to go about this. Yes. How could I possibly... I would like to be able to write it like this. I do understand why we're not able to out of the box. We could probably... It's not too important. But I wonder, I need to test this one. Not entirely sure we change what we want to change. Then again, for easiest would probably be, just to make sure, set value very interested in this. Terrain data, we get it, we get the struct, we set the value, we set it by this. We still have D. Let's do it like this for now. apply data, buffer type, set value, type dot data index, x, y value. Set data, here we have an int value. I think we're going to skip that. Here we have a float value. I think we're going to skip that as well. But could be good to keep them around. Should clamp. Yes, and here we don't need to do alert. Depends. Float value. Here we pretty much assume that it's between. Let's do it like this maybe. If or value bigger than 1.0, then we do a clamp, otherwise we do a value times 255. So if this is a data value where we have the float value is, like for instance, we have float values up to maybe 235, then we want to change it to byte like this. Otherwise we do it like this. But then I wonder, one sec. Set data, we want to cast it. Yo, good morning, Derek. No problem at all. Clear data. But then again, I guess we have one of these by default, do we? Yeah. Okay, clear by value index, then we want to do can we do for each with native arrays? but you do it a little bit differently. You do it something like this, right? Ah, fuck it. We could also just throw away this one and create a new one, but I don't think I want to do that. For a full clear, not for this one. So what do we have? We want X and Y here. Value index, yeah. Okay, move data. Now we're trying to get, or now we're starting to get into the more complicated stuff. Source, destination. Move data blit, then we have swap data. We have one very complicated here. Yeah, we have this alter data shit as well. Fuck me. Ugh. Want to compare length? Maybe we do. Fucking hell, length is a better word for this one. And then again, if these two buffers are the same, we can probably optimize it as well. Source buffer dot set value source type dot index I, and the value we want to set it to is something like this, right? Set value if clear source destination buffer source buffer. seeing this makes me question if I'm making things more complicated than I need to. It's very important that we're able to split these ones up on the GPU, because some shaders might only care about activity texture while other shaders only cares about water texture, for instance. So I don't want to send all data to all shaders. And that's why we need to split this one up. In some cases, we can only send 32-bit types to the shader. That's why we choose 4. Data values per terrain data. It makes me wonder if I want to add a constraint here. And the constraint I'm thinking about is isolating the data. So pretty much making it impossible to swap or move data between terrain data buffers. So we can only swap data within terrain data buffers and not between. So only within terrain data buffers and not between terrain data buffers. It's definitely going to make it much easier for me. I'm just trying to think about if there's ever going to exist a case where I, for instance, it depends on how good we So for instance, with this setup, would there ever be a case where we want to swap water with height or foliage with the previous? definitely simplified this one. We're not going to use this one. Would simplify this one a lot. Alter data as well. It would. Maybe. Swap data. We're gonna have to change those. Temp. This one worries me the most. Fuck me. Terrain data. This one, maybe. Okay, for now, let's just make it as easy as possible for the classes using this one, or as similar as possible. Swap data. Terrain data type. Okay, so let's go type 1 data buffer dot value type 1 dot data index I. Oof. Yeah, this one is... So basically what we have is we send in two functions as well, one source transform func and one alter func. All of them working with ints. Are you kidding me? Do we not call this one? What? I was pretty sure we did it somewhere here. Maybe not. Okay, that's good, because then we can probably skip it. It feels a bit... Calculate fluid spread, spread fluid. Seriously? Let's do this for now. I find it extremely weird that we don't use it anywhere. Also, train data blit, this one I'm pretty sure is important. Yes. Okay, so this one, I just want to make this one work with our current data. We're gonna change this one later on. Instantiate data as render texture, data as render texture. Yeah, we pretty much limit this one to only one of the textures as well, which is pretty bad. Because it is only used for height terraforming currently. Let me think about this one. We could fix it in a pretty rough way, just make it work, or we could rewrite this material to use a compute buffer instead, which we're eventually gonna do. Still gonna need the render texture, however. But it's weird that we need source. We're still gonna need this one, then we're gonna read back. Actually, now when I think about it, yeah, I don't want to put too much time here because there might... We can still work with this. We can probably... new data to this one. We always kept this one updated with the latest data previously, I think. So then we did a blit, Terraform brush material. I guess we could just change this to be done on the CPU for now. Because then we have these. Start index number of steps. We should be able to do this instead. Let's see. For each Terraform data row in Terraform data.get, or actually Terraform data rows in circle. Wasn't it? Private. Oh yeah. We want to do. Wait. Are we serious? Yeah, that's weird, but let's do it like this for now. Get Terraform data rows in circle. Yeah, that's not, then I guess we just go for each row, we go for int I is equal to 0, I is less than row dot number of steps plus plus. And then we do buffer Terraform brush dot type dot set value This is going to be extremely unoptimized right now because we rely on texture 2D here, so we're probably going to go get pixel. Yeah, and the texture here is probably smaller as well. I row Terraform data, what do we have? Would probably be easier to just rely on size clamped. right, bottom left, top right. Okay, so something we want to do it like this: buffer terraform brush type set value, and then we want to read a value, and then we want to add it with terraform brush. Unfortunately, brush texture, brush material. Let's see. I wonder if we can pretty much do it like this: set value. But then again, I would like to not do this here, but set value terraform brush dot type dot data index. Index here is going to be, we're going to rely on X and Y. X is row dot start index plus I. Row okay, this makes it easier here. Pretty much we just want to do row start index plus I. That's our index. A number of steps. But when we want to fetch the value we want to alter with, it's going to be a little bit harder, to say the least. Derek, once you finish all this framework and wrap it up as version 0.01, like we were saying, are you going to compile it for people to check out? What we had previously is probably the Terraform system version 0.1. I don't know. So this is 0.2. As for wrapping it up and compile it for people to check out, I have this idea that somewhere in the first half of next year I want to release a build of the game that only includes this Terraform stuff. But it's not only the functionality I want to get out there, it's also the Terraform related gameplay and such. So yeah, I have thoughts about releasing it. I'm thinking about it like a vertical slice of the game, only including the terraforming stuff. It's mostly because I want to get feedback around like how fun the terraforming is. Pretty much. Okay, so which values to set is pretty easy and straightforward. But then again, index start. Oops, one sec. Back, sorry about that. Yeah, someone at the door in 2024. And not often, but sometimes. They were just gonna check one thing in the apartment. But okay, where were I? Oh, fuck this shit, yep. Terraform Data is a class that worked wonderful together with our old system. It shouldn't be that much of a difference with the new system if I would have done it the correct way. It basically calculates exactly what points of a grid that is affected by a Terraform action, and package it in such a nice, or in a nice compact way and easy to use way with other data that is formatted in grid-like structures, basically. But yeah, we should only be able to do this here, but when we calculate the value we want to change it to, it's going to be a little bit... we can do it like this. Int index is equal to row dot start index plus I, because then we want to do index here, and here we want to do terrain data buffer. Is that what I call it up here? Source buffer, data buffer. What's up, Tar? Working on World Gen. We're currently altering or improving upon and eventually extending one of the underlying systems for the world, how data is represented and worked with. So yeah, I guess it touches on both generation, but mostly on terraforming. And here I want to do, I guess we're going to do int. New value is equal to buffer dot value Terraform brush type data index, and then the index in question is I. But then comes the hard part, I would say, or the more complicated part here. And then we have an interior, that's true, so maybe we want to rely on set data. No, set data, we should only need to send in the type, index, and new value. The only problem here that this one is an integer. We want to change it to a byte pretty much. Would like to rely on this one instead, set value. What the hell, let's do it like this. Into No. Let's do it outside here. Let's do it like this. New value, buffer value. Yeah, we're gonna do it like this. Terraform brush. And then we do And here I basically want to do, so we have the texture, active brush texture. We want to do texture dot Unity texture 2D. We should have, I hope, get pixel by linear. UV, that's great, but get pixel XY. I would love to get, no. Actually, we want to do get pixel by linear. Texture, get pixel by linear, UV0. And then we want to multiply this one with, we want to cast it to a byte, and we want to multiply this value with 255. Oh, .r. Because what we want to do here is new value. We want to get the value. But then we want to add it with the previous one. If we add bytes, do we get an overflow? Probably do. Let's worry about the overflow later. So buffer value. And here we do plus Terraform brush value, and then we just need to calculate U and V. Which I'm hoping we have in Terraform data. But we don't. We have bounds. Actually, for now, yeah, we don't want to do set data. We want to do buffer dot set value, Terraform brush type data index I new value. Let's do it like this for now, so we don't care about how the brush looks. We just take the affected data points and add 10 to them. Instantiate data as render texture joink, set terrain data joink. We're gonna load it in a different way eventually. Not enjoying how complex this actually turned out to be, but let's see here. Terrain point, terrain patch. Yeah, we can probably fix this. It's missing renderer features. Okay, because we can't compile. Terrain point, we're hopefully gonna change this eventually. I think this one is just data information right now. Information string. Ooh. Yo, what's up, Mice2K? We're doing a, I would like to say tiny, but it's probably not tiny. We're doing a little bit of a rework and eventually extension of the underlying data format, both to optimize it, but also to allow for some cooler stuff. It basically comes down to the initial solution relied too much on Unity's texture 2D. So for instance, when we packed terrain height, we packed it into a texture 2D format. And it's not optimized enough for what we want to use it for. Because we're basically packing data into textures and then we use them on the GPU. And when we work with data, we would like to use a custom struct on the CPU and compute buffers for the GPU. So instead of terrain data buffer having a texture 2D here, we have now switched it up to this instead. And now we're just trying to get all the systems to work with this change. Set material. Yeah, this is what I'm wondering about. Let's see here. Terrain. Let's see. Water. Terrain procedural water. I don't think we're actually using these too much. Data values, do we even use this one anymore? No, we don't. And this is some old code. So this rework, we're not going to work with terrain data and water data texture like this in the future. Instead, we're going to work with it on the shader side as, let's see here, where do we have it? We're going to do it like this instead. So a structured buffer with a custom struct. And we're probably going to put this in its own HLSL file we just include. This one I'm a little bit more worried about. UV terrain data step. Yeah, we don't seem to be using it. Okay, so that's good. Let's remove those. Let's remove this. Terrain. Yeah, okay. And then we also have procedural grass. This one I'm a little bit more worried about. Terrain data texture. Yeah, we use these a lot here, I think. Terrain data UV. Terrain data. We sample it here. Terrain data UV, terrain data. But do we use it? Random height, yes, we do. Yeah, we use it quite a lot actually. So for now, let's just do it like this. In the water, we don't use it, so set material texture. We don't care about this. We don't care about this. Ground mesh, however, we're gonna have to do something temporary here. Okay, this is good. This is good. This was something we tried that didn't really work out, so that's perfect. We can just skip this. Don't care about this one. Still wonder what I'm gonna do about the set data and mesh data. Fuck that. We're probably just gonna generate some random terrain data for the grass, I think. Recalculate mesh data. Yeah, this one. So let's just fill it up with something random. So when we create a terrain patch here, don't we have create new? Yeah, I think we're just gonna do it like this. Let's see. Texture generator, texture. Actually, we can do it like this. Terrain base. I think. Gets a small. I will. Let's do texture 2D. Let's just take this. Put it new terrain patch data, generate terrain data. Yeah, this one we have reworked. I wouldn't really do it like that right now. Let's see, terrain patch data. Width and height is everything we want here. Which is basically just resolution. There we go. We're gonna do it like that. Okay, I'm wondering if we'll be able to play here right now. And if so, what we get. Okay. Value index is out of bounds. Terrain patch data 22. 30. Terrain generate. Really? With height, length. So here, when we try and generate it, and then update all vertex data, and then recalculate mesh at index. So then when we do data here, we have X, Y, buffer type, value type data index. Y times height plus width. Yeah, what the fuck? Right. But does that make sense? Column. This is how we want to do it. I'm wondering if or actually is it yeah. Okay. This is actually quite nice to see. So everything works. We have changed the underlying data structure. We haven't really tried too much of the other systems. The reason we get full amount of grass everywhere is because we generate the initial texture as a pure white texture, and we use this texture in the shader. So I would really like to change that one to a pure black texture, so we don't get this grass, and then we can try and see if we can terraform, some simple terraforming. Actually, I think the order of things is going to be yeah, we're gonna start the texture with purely 0, and then we're gonna try and see if we can terraform, change the terrain height, if we can add grass and such. And I think we're also gonna rework or just alter the debug system so we can actually get a nice debug view of these things. So first of all, what I want to do is terrain patch. Where do we have? Here, this texture here. I want to change it to like this, and then I want to change this temp texture to white. And we're going to do it like texture generator, generate texture content, temp texture. Setups is going to be constant data value generator. New constant data value generator 0. Something like this should hopefully lead to a pure white texture. Or not. Ground mesh set. Ooh. Is it this one really? Could be. I don't think so, but maybe. Yeah, we need to dispose those as well. Okay, so that's only the wind texture. That's good to know. So why are we still getting 1 here for the grass? I don't know. The only reason I can see is that this one doesn't get generated correctly. Yes, okay, yeah. We only generated for the ground texture. Can we do... Okay. Pretty cool. So the only thing here is that ground ends up below water surface, but I'm okay with that. So height here should... Okay, should add some height to it or remove, but we're not getting that. Okay, so let's take a look at that. I need a quick way to check. I want to be able to quickly visualize the data we have. So we might as well start writing a shader that uses the new system of command buffers. We have something very similar, I think. environment controller. Terrain base. Toggle terrain mesh height. Set debug mode as int. Yeah, I think we're gonna do it a little bit more simple than this. Set material we need to do. Let's see here. Set debug mode. Debug mode event. And this we need to get to the bottom of eventually. Where do we have them? Ah, there we go. Shift 1, Shift 2. And we have that one as well, yes. Okay, this is good. Let's take a look at terrain base, debug material, terrain debug shader. Okay. Here we go. We don't need to do this as a multi-compile this time around. Instead, we're going to send in, we're going to remove these, we're going to remove this, and instead we're going to send in, we're going to change what type of data we send in. So if we're in debug mode height, we're going to send in the height data to all of these debug shaders. If we're in foliage mode, we're going to send in the foliage data and water and so on and so on. But to make this work nicely, I'm going to start by implementing a shader utility, much like reflection and scene texture. And we're going to implement one of these that are called terrain data. And every shader that needs access to anything terrain data related is going to include that HLSL file. It's going to have some global properties, I think. Maybe not. Maybe we can get around the global properties. Let's see here. Shader utils. Let's duplicate this one. Terrain data. But some shaders might want the height data, some shaders might want the activity data, some shaders might want the water data. So it's not going to be as, and some, if it only were the case that each shader at most uses one sort of data, it would be okay. But we might have some shaders that use multiple terrain data types. For instance, water, I'm assuming, is going to use both the water data but also the activity data. So could we do this in a nice way, define some compile flags here? I would love to be able to have it like this. Let's see. And then we have something like float or uint or whatever, but something like this, and then it's up to the CPU to properly distribute which data each material needs. But yeah, that won't work if we need, if something need mold. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna start by implementing it like this. And eventually add support for multiple terrain data types. But it's not hassle-free to unpack this data either. We're gonna have to do some byte shifts and stuff, right? Let's see. Here we have a data of 2 bytes. So I guess we don't need to do this since we're doing we have 4 bytes, so we actually we pack the full 32 uint. So we pretty much just need to do this. Then it's a question of, do we want to work with... In fact, do I want to work with integers in the shaders as well? I've always imagined it as floats. But that should be easy to fix. So our unpack data would look a little bit like, let's see here. So get terrain data. Yeah, we're gonna have to work with indices like this, but I think I'm okay with that. We're gonna have to implement get terrain data, float 2 UV, x uint y, float 4 get terrain data uint index. I think we will be able to manage to implement this in a nice way, but we're gonna have to do it tomorrow. So by the end of tomorrow, I would really like to have this debug mode fully functional, at least, so we can show all the data here. And I would also like to have all the terraforming back in place, so we should be able to add foliage, water, change the height of the ground and stuff like that, and then we can start extending it. You can use structured buffer float. What's up, Hario? Good timing. I'm gonna have to run. We're gonna get to the bottom of how we want to have this one as well in the end, because currently we pack the data as bytes. So, and I think we pack the values between 0 and 255, and I think that's how I want to read it. But honestly, I don't know. But I have to run now, unfortunately. So we're gonna have to finish this one up tomorrow. We might change this one to float. We'll see. We'll see. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Appreciate it, and have a great rest of the day. Peace.